Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Country Boy Conversation. We got a special guest tonight. We got Tex from Texas Front Porch. How you doing, Tex?
Man, if I was any better, it wouldn't be legal.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about you? You all right?
Oh, I'm making it. Having fun doing
Well, you
this.
know, the way I look at it, any day above dirt's a good day.
Right. That's for sure, ain't it?
I am trying to get here where I can. Here we go. Share this little jewel.
Okay.
I can learn how to type here.
I know. I'm not real good at this. You know what I mean? I had to. I you know peck the keyboard like a chicken. You know.
Oh yeah, I we were doing something on the computer the other day. Me and my wife was in here, and she's talking to me, and I'm trying to type stuff. She's telling me, and will you slow down? I thought you typed quicker than that. You kidding me?
Right.
I'm hunting
Right.
peck on a good day.
Well, that's the way me. I just ain't the greatest at computers. I try to be. I'm learning how to do my thumbnails and stuff. You know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I used um I use another app for called KindMaster to make all my videos and edit and all that kind of stuff, and then
Hmm.
put it on YouTube. And everything that's edited, all the intros, everything that you see on the channel, I've done on my phone.
Damn. You got a good intro. I mean, your intro is really good, and your
Thank you, thank you.
yeah, yeah. I
But
love the show.
yeah, so it's a really good app, and I recommend it for anybody. And it's got a great free version, just like StreamYard. It's got a great free version you can use.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm
if you're
using.
just yeah, if you're just getting started out, and I, I've never really looked into the whole YouTube editing process and making videos and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but on that, from what I understand, you're kind of you kind of have to have a computer to get all the features and all that kind of stuff. But on KindMaster, man, it's just it's user friendly, and
Hmm.
I downloaded it and just started dinking with it, and just learned my way around it. And you're not going to screw anything up, you know.
Right. 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 Yeah, that's for sure.
So, but I suggest that for anybody that's getting started, or you know, um, these two apps, man, they're lifesavers. You know,
Yeah.
because you got all the hey, Danielle's here. Hey, girl.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, you got a lot of copyright free music you can use and all that kind of stuff. So, and
Yeah.
YouTube's
Yeah.
got a huge library of that too. So,
I ain't. I mean, my stuff goes to YouTube, but I really ain't messed around in YouTube Studio too much right now. I'll have to figure it all out.
well, we made the YouTube gods mad at us. So
Yeah, I
we
heard you was talking about that. Yeah. Jeez, Whiz, what a mess.
oh man, I tell you, I can't even reapply for monetization until September 19th. You know,
Jeez, what the,
and it's like, and it's all because we were simulcasting and trying to grow each other's channels and stuff. That's all it was.
yeah.
But
Yeah, they don't want you to do
I
that
had to.
anymore. It's just crazy.
No, no, they do not. They called it reuse content, and I had to pull a bunch of videos down. I had to pull all their shows off my channel and
Oh
all that kind of
wow.
stuff. Yeah, it's getting so bad that they're getting picky about um, the algorithm, because it's all done by the algorithm, and until you appeal it, then an actual person looks at it. But
Yeah.
um, it's if you I've heard that even if you use the same thumbnail or the same intro, that they'll ding you on that.
Jeez,
And
Whiz.
I'm like, what? That makes no sense.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. That's for sure.
Now, I haven't seen any proof of that. That's just scuttlebutt that I've heard. So
Well, like I've heard you guys talk about it, and even I've experienced a little bit of it. Like one day you have so many members, and the next time you look, it'll be a different number, and then you look again, and it's back up again.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just I don't know what they're trying to do. It's hard to tell.
Well,
It's
and
great.
here lately, everybody's been having a problem. They've been YouTube be unsubscribing people to channels,
Yeah.
and Jason texted today. He said I was unsubscribed from the front porch, and he had to resubscribe. And I'm and
Right.
supposedly, and like I said, it's all with the algorithm again,
Mm-hmm.
and it supposedly any account that's subscribed to you and is inactive for 2 years, they kick it out. I get
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but that's not what's happening. You
Yeah. They're
know,
kicking people out somehow.
yeah.
They're messing something up.
And the
Yeah.
notifications, we've always had issues with the notifications.
Yeah. Whose channel was I watching? And I always watch Brown Door. And sometimes I don't get his notifications.
Yep.
It's like
Yep.
I know I hit that bell. You know what I mean? I hit the bell
Uh
on
huh.
everybody's channel,
Yep.
but then
Yep. Yeah. It's a finicky thing, man. I'm telling you. And there's nothing out there that is even close to touching it as far as the size of the platform and
yeah.
uh,
Hey,
being user friendly.
there's Sue. Hey Sue, how you doing? Uh, yeah. You think it's because of what we're talking about? I think that's got a lot to do with it. They don't want this stuff out there. Honestly,
I think we do, and I say we, as a community as a whole, we do a pretty good job of make ourselves look crazy anyway.
right?
Because one, we gotta stop all the jealousy and the petty crap and the infighting. It's just stupid. It's
yeah.
just it doesn't do anything but hurt the subject and
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah. 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 I don't care if you got a different opinion. That's everybody's got their own opinion on things.
Well, I mean, how are we supposed to learn something if you got your head stuck in a box? You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
you can't.
You have to listen to everybody's opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the only
that's
thing
like
you're ever.
that's what I'm always telling everybody. It's um, even me and other members of my team don't have the same opinion on this stuff.
Right. Right.
But it doesn't matter because we can sit down and have an open conversation about it.
Right. And yeah, and no, they don't get heated or nothing.
Right, right.
Some people get like really upset if you don't believe what they believe, and I'm like, you can't even look at life that way. Everybody's got an opinion on something.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just being human.
Well,
Yeah.
that's like you know, I've taken a pretty good beating for being against the whole mind speak, and that's not what it is. I'm not against it. They're experiencing something. I just want people to be careful what they're dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and I guess it's just me. I am not going to trust anything that speaks in my head and tells me it's Bigfoot. That's going to raise a red flag with me.
right.
I start hearing voices, and I may have to go make an appointment to the doctor.
Right. Right.
but,
Right.
but and I hope it is what these people think it is. I really, really do because I don't like the alternative. you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure.
But
Daniela said we are all unique and have different opinions, but that's what makes this world beautiful. If you look closely into it.
that is very true. Very, very true.
If we was all the same, it'd be a boring place to live, wouldn't
Wouldn't it? Good grief.
it? Yeah, nothing
Like
would ever
same
get
song,
done.
different verse every day.
Right, right. Well, I
And
guess so.
Sue says her family thinks her second name is crazy. I'm with
Right.
you. Mine do too. Mine do too.
My youngest little girl, she's getting into the Bigfoot thing a little bit. The wife, the wife's had an experience. She's had
Oh wow.
not an encounter.
Right.
Um, they was uh, they was camping out, her and a friend and a couple, and they went camping. I don't know if you ever heard of the Grafton Monster.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, well that's where they was at. They was in Grafton at the Taggart Lake up there, and they went swimming, and then in the evening or night, I think it was nighttime, and she said they went to get in the water and heard something splash. They never thought they saw, fish jump or something like that.
Right.
Then he said, next thing you know, something else, and then you could see rocks hitting the water, and they yelled, hey, cut it out. They thought
Yeah.
someone was there, but they said no one was in the campground that night, just them.
Right.
And so I guess eventually it stopped, and then they went back to their campground, and the boyfriend went and got firewood. And while he was going, they said something was walking around the tent. So they thought, oh, he's playing a game with them. They looked at him, but he wasn't there. He was still out getting firewood. So,
Right.
after I heard her tell it, I said, that sounds like Sasquatch stories, or Bigfoot stories that we hear about them throwing rocks and,
Yeah.
just being curious. But yeah, it's awesome. I ain't never had an encounter yet. I hope I do one of these days.
And you've probably walked by 100 of
Yep.
them and not even known it. You know.
That's like I tell everybody. I've lived in West Virginia all my life. 49 years old, and I've only seen one bear. One bear alive in the woods. So if a bear can hide from you
Yep.
that good, you know what I mean?
It people don't realize how rare these things are. And how rare, even like you said, seeing a bear out in the wild.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've hunted all my life, and I'm sure I don't know if you hunt or not.
no, I used to. I don't
Yeah,
as much
yeah,
anymore. But
yeah. I don't either as I got older, but
too
you
much
can
damn
go out.
work.
Yeah, right, right. You can go out in the woods and not see a damn deer all day long.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's just the way it is.
yeah. I even
So,
got to where hell, when I fish, I just catch and release only because I don't want I don't want to clean the damn fish.
yeah, I ain't been fishing for a while either. I think it's probably been 10, 11, about 12 years ago. It was winter time, so I'm in the construction field, so we had like a month off, because it gets slow that time.
Right.
I had some money saved up. I said, my buddy, he's a big trout fisherman. We trout fished for 30 days straight.
Damn.
I think we ended up with, I forget, like over, it was a bunch of trout. It was a bunch. We was on one of them pay lakes, where up here
Right.
they used to have a little pay lake where, you're allowed to catch like six or something a day. We was
Right.
fishing every day.
I lived down on the Brazos River for about a year with a buddy of mine, and he's got 90 acres of riverfront property down there, and it's a pecan orchard.
Oh,
And this was back when I was in my early 20s, and we had a little. We called it a welding business, but we did anything that people would hire us to do.
right, right.
And we would run. We had trot lines set out, and we would get up in the morning and go run and bait our trot lines. Come home for lunch, go run and bait our trot lines. and then after dinner we'd go run and bait our trot lines. And we they had a family reunion, and we supplied the fish, and we had over 50 pounds of fillets.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of fillets, man. It's a lot of fillets, but and all catfish too. It was that was
Aussie's good. Aussie Sue said, my youngest son was just over at New Zealand for 2 weeks. He always made fun of me about Bigfoot till he sent me photos of him standing beside a Bigfoot statue over there. Wow.
that's awesome. Um, I wonder what they call it over there. I don't know what they call it over in
I,
New Zealand.
I have no clue. I never would have thought they'd have them over there, but New Zealand's what, right above Australia, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, Australia's an island, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what? Hang on just a second. Let's look this up. Now I'm curious.
I think she told me this like a week or so ago, and instead of having 5 fingers and 5 toes, it had 6 fingers and 6 toes. I think that's right. Sue, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, they call it Mau.
Mayo.
Moho. Moehaw.
I don't know. I don't. I
Also
can barely
called
speak.
Mayororo or something. I don't know.
All right.
But
Wow, that's awesome. Learn something new every day. They call them Bigfoot. We call them Meowies. He said.
yeah, they call them yowies down under. Yeah.
She said, yeah, it had six fingers and 6 toes.
Well, and a lot of people. I talked to a couple of boys um, up in the northeast up there, and they're gonna shoot me. I can't remember their names,
Uh
but
huh.
they they're convinced all of them have 6 toes and 6 fingers, even over here.
Really?
Yeah, they got
I
a
mean,
bunch of
just
casts and everything. Hell, one of the guys has even got a cast of a bite that one took out of an apple. His
wow.
his wife, yeah, his wife's a dental assistant, and she did the dental cast and everything off the apple.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, they've got a bunch of freaking footprint cast and handprint cast,
Mm,
and they were pointing out 6 fingers and toes and all that, and I don't know, man. Some of them, some of them I could see pretty clear, but
yeah.
the
Yeah.
ones the ones down here I've never noticed, you know, 6 foot or 6 fingers or toes, but I mean, I know that it happens. We hear more about 3-toed ones down here.
Yeah. I've heard you say that before. The 3 toes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Are they still long and big? Or is this
Oh
three
yeah,
toes?
yeah. It's same. And some of them look. Some of the 3 toes look like they were born that way, and some of them look like it was an injury or something.
Oh yeah, it
So
makes sense.
I think it's a lot of
Yeah,
a
the
lot of
genetics.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna have some inbreeding.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I mean, it's just yeah, yeah. I mean that really makes sense.
but
She said it says Bigfoot on that plaque on the statue where the statue's at. Yeah.
that's funny that they would take that term over there and use it.
Right. Right. That's for sure. Well, I guess let's jump into some Brown Springs. That's the place that
We
really
can do
interests me.
we can do that. What you want to know?
When did you? I mean, when did you start going there? Like, how did you find? I mean, find out about it and stuff like that. Like, when did you start going there?
Well, I can't remember if it was 2016 or 2017.
Uh,
It may have been the end of 2016. That's why I'm having trouble with it. I don't keep up with when I did shit. I just don't.
right, right.
But I what had happened? I here again, it all goes back to my dogman encounter because I was at work, like on lunch break or slow night or whatever, and I was looking through YouTube, and I
Hmm.
started dogman stuff. I'm like, dogman? I never heard of freaking dogman. And I started looking at some stuff, and hey Scott, and it was the same. It was the same critter that I had seen, or it sounded like it. But people were talking about it. I thought I was the only crazy one around, And so I got in touch with this girl that had a channel at that time, and told her about my encounter and everything. She interviewed me, and then we became friends, and um, I ended up doing some voice work for her and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then something happened. I don't. I honestly, I oops. Honestly, I don't know what happened, but her channel went away, and it was drama, unfortunately. And I heard some other stuff that happened. But anyway, then I ran across D's channel, D Doss's channel, BDRP, and I reached out to him and told him my encounter, and then me and him kind of hooked up, and I was his co-host for like 2 years, and we went out in the field. He took me out to Brown Springs. Well, I met him out at Brown Springs, or met him in his house, and then we drove my truck out to Brown Springs, and we pulled up by 8:30 in the morning, and we got out of the truck, and I'm just looking around getting the lay of the land, because I'd never been here before, so I'm looking for landmarks and that type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And he's on the he's over on the other side of the truck getting his stuff together, camera and whatnot. And I didn't have a camera with me or nothing. And I'm looking through this tree line. This tree line's about, I don't know, 10 yards thick maybe. And where we were parked was a hay field, and then on the other side of this tree line was a wheat field. Well, the wheat was about 4 feet tall at that point, and I'm just kind of looking around and looking through the tree line over in this wheat field, and this critter jumps up, just stands up out in the middle of this wheat field, looks around like this, and then takes off running down into the bottoms.
Oh my gosh.
And I could see him from about the waist up until he hit the fire break that they had mowed. Then I had a couple of steps of him head to toe, and then he went in the trees and he was gone. And my exact words were, "I'll be damned, there goes one right there." And OD's like, "What? What are you talking about?" I said, "How you just jumped up out of that wheat field and run off into the trees over there?" And he was probably, I don't know, 60, 70 yards away, I guess. Yeah, probably
Mhm.
about that. And so we went. He's like, "Man, you're like the third person I brought down here that's seen that one, and I've yet to see him." And so we go tromping off down there in the brush, and where we went, and we went down and cut a left down the floodplain. Was was we'd have crossed his path where he was headed. So we get down there and we start walking, and we start hearing something up on the ridge, and then every once in a while we'll hear a knock or a mouth pop, whatever they do. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then we'll go about 100, 150 yards, and then we'll hear it again. And we could hear footsteps up there, and we think what he was doing was, we think there may have been a family group or something up in front of us, and he was pushing them to keep them from us walking up on them.
Oh
is what we
wow.
think
Yeah.
is going on.
Makes sense. I
So
mean, yeah.
that was my first trip to Brown Springs, and of course after that I was hooked,
Yeah.
and yeah, then went out there several more times and started going out there by myself, and here I am, So
Yeah. I mean, I've seen your videos. That looks like a really thick place, like a lot of thick brush
man, it
around.
is. It is, especially like this time of year. Late spring. This time of year, oh gosh, it grows up, and it is thick with poison ivy. Oh my
Oh
god.
man, not
Oh
with
my
that
god.
stuff. I don't like it.
I don't either, and I usually bring a case of it home every year.
Oh
You know,
man.
but and I found I know this kind of off topic, but I found the weirdest cure for that. If because if you scratch it, you'll spread it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you'll get in the shower and you'll get that water just as hot as you can freaking stand it, and you'll let it run on wherever your spot of poison ivy is, it will keep it from itching for about 12 hours.
Mhm.
And it also evidently does something to the oils
Mhm.
and eventually makes it dry up and go away. Just freaking hot water.
Yeah. I remember my grandma used to give us this wee little. They come in a bottle, probably about like where's my camera? Probably about that big. You used to get them at the pharmacy. They don't even carry them no more. And it was a little white round pill, and it was sweet tasting. And I think it was called Ivy Dry or something. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. And she would give us them, and it honestly worked. I don't tell me. I couldn't tell you what was in it, but and it was sweet tasting.
That was I've never heard. I never even heard of that. You know.
Yeah, she used to get it from the pharmacy. Back in the
Right.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. I was because I got to tell you, I came home with one batch, and I was looking for everything I could find
To get rid of.
to get rid of that stuff because it was driving me crazy. But it was I had it on my thigh, I had it over on my
Man.
arm and under my arm, and I mean, it was just it's like 3 to 4 different locations, and it would wake me up itching to it.
Oh man, you must get it really bad. Like you must like.
And I it can get real bad, if I let it, and I knew
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't scratch it, but sometimes you just can't freaking help yourself, and but I got to where I was pretty much bathing in calamine lotion
that
and
pink that pink stuff my mom used to put
yeah,
on and
yeah.
white shoe polish. Oh man, yeah,
But and I found out, and I went and jumped in the shower one time, and I had the water on too hot that I normally haven't, and
yeah.
it just happened to hit one of my poison ivy spots, and it felt so good, like it was scratching it, and I'm
Oh,
like,
that's great.
oh my gosh, it feels so good. I just ran it on her, ran it on her, ran it on her, and then I noticed that of course, I worked 12-hour days. I noticed it wouldn't itch the whole time I was work. So I started doing that every day.
Yeah,
And after about a week, it was gone.
it must be the hot water draws that oil out or something.
I
Yeah,
guess. I don't know. I mean, it was a happy find.
right,
I mean, I don't suggest you get, scalding ass water and try to spray it on your kids when you got poison
right,
ivy, but
right.
you know, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a weird deal. But down at Brown Springs, when I started finding out, real quick, real early on, was that it was Shiro, Shiro. You know what? She's told me how to pronounce that, and I'll be damned if I can remember it.
I always say
But
Chiro. I always say Chiro. I don't know.
But I found out real quick that there was a lot more down there, you know.
Yeah.
And I one of my favorite places turned. I mean, once I found out there was an old cemetery up there on the hill that was, decrepit and everything, and you had to walk to it. You can't drive to it.
Mm-hmm.
And got up there, and I was just fascinated with the place. And I started going up there quite a bit. And then we were doing a show one night, and I'm real bad at this. I'm real bad at sticking my foot in my mouth. And I popped off one night that I'd go up there by myself, you
Yeah.
know, at night because everybody's making a big deal about it. All these folks were talking about how they wouldn't go without 10 or 15 people during the day, and they wouldn't go nothing. That they would never go anywhere up there at night. I'm like, I ain't buying all that stuff. Come on now. But so I shot my mouth off, and
Hey, Midwest. Sorry.
hey, Midwest. Um, yeah, I'm going to be over yonder in their camp next month. Go visit
Cool.
them. Yeah, on
Cool.
their show. I'm going to go visit their show.
Yeah.
But I don't. I started going up there, and I had people try to talk me out of it. But I'm one of these. Unfortunately, sometimes I'm one of these people where if I do something, if I don't do it, there's a good reason, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so um, the first time that I went up there by myself, I got up there and I got out of my truck down at the bottom of the hill, and I heard. I mean, there were footfalls. I mean, all over the place. And I'm like, and I heard whoops and everything. And I'm like, and I'm thinking about maybe this was not such a good idea. Maybe I need to rethink this.
Right.
So I got back in my truck, and of course, you didn't have phone service down there at that point.
Yeah.
And so I had to drive back up the road till I had phone service. And I called D, and I called um, a lady in the woods, and was talking to them, and they were like, "You don't got to do this. You really don't need it. You really shouldn't go by yourself." Blah blah blah. I said, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Right.
And so I hung up, and I went back down there, and I got out of my truck, and I was still hearing some footfalls. Oh, looky there! What are you
That's that.
doing?
That's my youngest one, Ellie.
That's trouble right there. That's what that
That's
is.
tech. Oh, you better believe it.
You tell me not like 1,000 times.
she's my co-host sometimes. She likes to hear about Bigfoot and
You
Dog
like
Man.
Bigfoot?
You like Bigfoot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
They was actually calling. I found some collaring things online. I don't know if people know about it, but you can go online and look up cryptid collaring pages, and it'll bring you to like some free things. And I got like some dog man pictures, werewolves from dog man,
Right.
and some Bigfoot pictures and Mothman. And they're showing you one.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And they're free for kids, so I figure keep them busy.
Mine. Give me mine.
Okay, girl. That's enough.
No, Huggy.
But yeah, they enjoyed it. I thought it was cool though that you could look that up. And,
I'm going to have to do that. My grandson will love it.
yeah, because I mean, you can get. I just downloaded some more. You can get like the Braxton County Monster Braxy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that one. Looks like kind of like an alien, and it floated around. I don't know if you heard that story or not.
Huh. No, I guess I have.
Yeah, and they got different ones. They got the Dover Demon, the what's the goblins? The Hopkinsville goblins.
Oh yeah.
They got all them. And they're not real, scary or nothing.
Right,
They're
right,
for
right.
kids. But yeah. What was I forget what was we talking about now? Oh, you heard all them footsteps. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So anyway, like I said, there was I was still hear footfalls, but there wasn't as many of them. I kind of felt a little different about it, so I went ahead and went on up there, and so I get up there, and you can, and I've got a recording on the channel somewhere,
Uh
and because I was running audio, and all I had with me was a phone, a pocket knife, and a pen light, and so I'm walking up the trail up there, and you hear me say, I just had a growl over here on my left, kind of had a little purr to it, you know. And so I went on up the trail, and I get up to the top, and I'm shining the light back over on my left shoulder over there, and I see this eye shine in the trees right there. And I don't know, it's maybe 2.5, 3 foot off the ground. I'm thinking, okay, big old eyes though, big as silver dollars, about 8, 10 inches apart between them, big old set of eyes.
Gee whiz.
And I'm like, what in the world? And I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. I'm looking at a critter, and so I'm sitting there and I'm shining this, and it's like playing peekaboo behind a tree with me, you know.
Right?
And it looked like it was just out of my flashlight range, and it was like darker than the dark. You could kind of see a silhouette against the night,
Yeah.
and so it looked like it was kind of turning its head, like the light was bothering it, right? I'm thinking to myself, this is pretty cool, And then it stood up. And when it hit about 4.5, 5 feet, I decided, well, I think it's probably time to back off. so,
Right.
so, and like I said, I had, I was still green as far as dealing with these critters and stuff. And I said, well, I'll walk back down. And I walked back down the trail, and I went back up. And then we had 2 other folks coming in to meet us, and D was supposed to show up and everything. And his truck broke down or something. I don't remember. But anyway, I had to run over to Ardmore and get him. So I run over and got him, and then the other 2 guys showed up, and we went back up there that night. And I guess I had wore out my welcome because we were up walking around. We were in single file, and I was out front. And I just got the feeling just really, really bad. I mean, I broke out in a cold sweat. I got real weak. I thought I was fixing to pass out. I got shaky and everything. I mean, what the hell's going on?
Right.
I wasn't dehydrated. I drank plenty of water. And I'm thinking, am I fixing to keel over right here? This is not good.
Right.
I mean, I'm in a cemetery, but, hey, but so I let everybody walk past me, and I'm hugging a tree, and D turns around and he looks at me and goes, man, you're white as a ghost. What's wrong with you? I said, man, I don't know. I feel like I'm fixing to pass out. I said, just give me a minute to blow. I said, if I don't get the feet, I'll go back down the truck and y'all can just walk around, whatever. And they were like, no, if you go, we're all going to go. And one of the boys was from Denmark, and the
Oh
other one
wow.
had come up from Austin. So I didn't want to ruin that for them,
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, just give me a minute to blow and we'll see how it goes. And I don't know, 5, 7, 10 minutes later, it was gone. I felt better than I did before. So we just took back off and kept walking. And we had made it back to the back of the cemetery, and I spotted a game trail, big old wide game trail that was down on the back side of the cemetery. And I went, hey, check this out. And right before that, we had found a cedar tree that had all the limbs stripped off of it, just off one side, about 15 feet up and all the way down.
That's
And
weird.
they were piled up down at the bottom, and something had been bedding on these limbs.
Wow.
Um, so then we get to walking around a little bit more, and I spot that game trail. I said, "Hey, let's go down this game trail and see what's down there." And I bet we didn't take 2 or 3 steps. I was in front again, and D was in tail end Charlie. And I bet I didn't take 2 or 3 steps towards that game trail. And right in front, of course, it's dark, right in front of me.
Oh.
And everybody heard it. D from the back goes, "It's time to go."
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
So we backed on out and went over to our camp, which was kind of catty corner across the road down at the bottoms where I had my first sighting at, actually. And we'd set up camp down there. And we were sitting around a campfire, and we was talking. Well, they had the old boy had a van at that point, and he had a sound system, light system in it, and everything, and it looked like a rolling disco, and they were pumping out. I never will forget it. Pink Floyd, the Animals album, and I'm not really a Pink Floyd fan, but
Right.
they had this music cranking out, and I'm not a real big fan of playing music when I'm camping in the
Right.
first place because I'm trying to listen to what's going on.
Right.
But
Right.
the idea was to try to stir something up. If I remember correctly. But it was kind of an experiment. But it was we were sitting around a campfire, kind of in a semicircle. It was me, the old boy. I think his name was Anders from Denmark, D, and then Mr. Glass. And this thing, and our camp was probably 100 yards, probably a little more than 100 yards off the main road. And this thing back behind us cooked off with a scream. I've never heard anything like that in my life, and I've heard cougars scream, and it wasn't no damn cougar.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing, I mean, it put ice water in your veins.
Oh,
And
Lord.
D and Anders really didn't hear it. Me and Glass did, and we stood straight up out of our chairs, and we was like, "He's like, run over and turn the music down,"
Uh-huh.
And we was like, "Did you hear that?" And they were like, "Well, we kind of heard something." But me and Glass, we was like, "Man, I don't know what that was, but it was not happy."
Right?
Huh?
I said, right? Yeah.
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 But so anyway, we we settled back down. We turned the music down and everything. We sat back down and everything. And about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, maybe it cooked off again, but it had moved from behind us over to the side of us in that damn wheat field down on the bottoms that I was
Oh,
telling
man.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it kicked off another scream. That time everybody heard it. And the only way I noticed to say this is when I heard it, I kind of got the feel something said female to me. I don't know, that's just kind of the way it sounded, I guess. But I'm like, I get a female vibe from it, if that makes any sense. Um, and I don't know if we just pissed something off. And I've heard foxes scream, I've heard cougars scream, I've heard, and it wasn't nothing like that. I don't know what, and it was loud. I mean, loud.
Wow.
But yeah, um, that was a hell of a night up there, man. It was, and I mean, it just never stopped. Every time I go that, something happens. It may not be a crazy active night like that, but something happens.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people like. Is there a lot of people that go out that road or anything? Like, do you get a lot of traffic out
You
of
know,
Brown Springs?
yeah, unfortunately, because it goes. One of the casinos sets on that road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and So it gets and it's a back road between off the highway between there and Gainesville. So it's a lot. It does get quite a bit of traffic,
Yeah.
and you do get. Normally, when we're going camping out there, we'll get somebody will pull up at least once,
Uh huh.
up to your camp, but most of the time, as soon as they see you, they just turn around and leave. You
Yeah.
know, every once in a while, somebody would come down there and talk to you, but it used to be really, really, really shady down there, man. It was getting really bad. Now they've got a game warden that is assigned to that area,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and he's really it's really cleaned it up a lot down there.
That's good.
Um,
I mean, yeah.
but I'll tell you something that I heard just a few weeks ago. I heard from a buddy of mine that lives up there, and and in that area,
Yeah.
and their fire department up there, they've got firefighters that won't even respond down there to Brown Springs.
Wow.
They won't even go because, especially over the last few months, they said the activity, the weirdness level has just cranked all the way up. There's just so much weird stuff going on down there. And I mean, me and it was, let's see, who all was out there this one night? It was me and Bob Van Buren, Jason, Amy and Laney, and Cody. Now they're from What the Paranormal, and they're a
Hmm.
mother daughter team, and they had went up to this is creepy. They had went up to the cemetery looking for ghosts, just just the girls,
Yeah.
and they had no clue what else was up there. Okay, and because they're a paranormal bunch, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they're going up there looking. It's a cemetery. They're just going up there looking for ghosts, right?
Hmm.
So Amy and Laney, they're up there poking around and filming and all this kind of stuff. And then when I found out that they were up there by themselves, like, man, you can't do that. Do not go up there by yourself.
Right.
Not.
Right.
I said, you got critters up there that you don't want to run into. And I'm
Hmm.
not talking about Bigfoot or anything. You don't want to run into the damn wild pigs that they have a huge problem with. You got big cats in the area. There's a lot of stuff. And not to mention, the great North American meth head that you got running around. But
Right. Right.
um, the so anyway, it's like, man, if y'all want to go back up there, let me know and I'll take you up there. And so we got together and we was going up there, and we left Jason at the camp, and the rest of us went up to the cemetery. Me and Bob were in my truck, and Amy, Laney, and Cody were in their truck. And we pulled in at the bottom of the cemetery. And next thing we know, we're surrounded by 5 cop cars.
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
it was like 3 sheriff's deputies and a couple of tribal police.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so and we're like getting out, and we get talking to them. They're like, "What are y'all doing up here?" And I kind of look down at my feet. It's like, and he looks at me and goes, "We're one of the tribal cops," and he looks at me and goes, "Are y'all down here hunting Bigfoot?" And I got this big shit-eating grin on my face, and I'm like, "Yes, sir, we are." And I said, we're the cryptid bunch, and I said that those folks over there, they're a paranormal group. And I was going to take them up the cemetery, and I ended up talking to these fellers for about 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and they told me that 2 of their officers had Bigfoot sightings down there,
Wow.
and that the officer I was talking to, he had a paranormal experience there in the cemetery back when he was about 16, 17 years old, and so that's when they. Because we had told them, we said, look, we're not, because I wasn't going armed at that point, right?
Right.
I carried a Bowie knife, and that's all I carried.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't have any weapons, in firearm. And he goes, well, he goes, we actually encourage, if you're going to come out here, we actually encourage you to carry a sidearm.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, what? you know?
Right? Yeah,
And,
because that would flip you out a little bit. Yeah.
and he said, you can't carry a long gun unless you've got a hunting license.
Yeah.
Um, but we urge you to carry a sidearm. I'm like, okay, well, that's different. Why? you know,
Yeah.
type thing. And he said, well, we got a big pig problem down here. I said, yeah. I said, I get that. And, he said that, and you get, right now the whole human traffic part of it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
And he said, and then we've gotten reports of tiger sightings.
What?
I'm like, what? Tiger sightings? What are you talking about? So Joe Exotic, okay, the
Okay.
tiger,
Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about.
yeah, his first outfit was about 40 miles away from Brown Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he got shut down and thrown in jail, and the other person took it over, he moved it within about a mile and a half of Brown Springs.
Oh
Okay, and
my
set up
God.
camp there. Well, then they got shut down and run off, and there were 17 big cats that were unaccounted for.
What the hell?
Yeah, yeah, and
Oh my
they had
God.
yeah, and they had gotten now none of the officers had seen any yet. Thank you, Danielle. And hey, casual, but they had they had gotten several. They said several reports of people seeing tigers rolling around the area.
Holy crap.
Well, then we get back to camp, right? And we're telling this to Jason, and Jason goes, "You know what that was that night you went up there and saw them big old eyes shine with that flashlight, don't you?" I said, "It's Bigfoot." He goes, "No, no, 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 no." So we pretty much come to, and I argued with him. I didn't want to admit that I was face to face with a damn tiger up there, you know.
Jeez, oh,
And but yeah, we pretty much come to the conclusion that that's probably what it was.
oh my gosh. I mean, I think I'd rather run into a Bigfoot than a damn tiger.
I know I would. I know I would. Just on the off chance that I can mind speak with him,
Right?
something, I might.
Exactly.
There's a chance that I might leave in one piece, but I think a better chance anyway. But and I got to thinking about this, and okay, so they've had reports of sightings of tigers up there, but there's not been a attack. Okay,
Uh-huh.
number one, and I think it's because of several things. Number one, these cats were very well. They were used to being around humans.
Yeah.
Right. Number two, the food source out there is, with all the pigs and everything, the deer population is booming out there. The coyote population is booming out there. The possum, I mean, it's, everything.
Yeah, they got plenty of food to sustain
It's a
them.
buffet for them. They don't have to, they're not, I don't think they're worried about hunting humans,
Right.
honestly, um, but, and I had a hunter, two hunters, but he was a poacher. Uh, um, we ran into one night down there, and he was telling us that was BS, and I'm like, okay, who am I going to believe, a freaking poacher or five cops? Two of them tribal. Who am I going to believe here? Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Sherry. Um, but so yeah, it was kind of crazy. It's
Yeah.
and then just the level of paranormal stuff that we've ran into out there is just off the chain.
Yeah,
I
that,
mean,
that graveyard looks really creepy because you did a night show where you was out
right,
there.
right.
That's a creepy place at night. Jeez, oh, with.
Yeah, yeah. I
It
made one
is.
trip up there by myself. I went up there at 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wanted to go up there during the witching because everybody
The witch.
talks about the witching hour, and well, I'll
Yeah.
go see what's poke around, see what's going on up there. And I've got to tell you, almost every time I've been up there by myself, when I wasn't talking to the damn camera like I was that one night, it makes it hard because I was wearing headphones and I'm trying to concentrate on everything. Hell, I got turned around up there that night. I got turned around. That's the night that we found. That's the night that we came back down and found them handprints.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
In
That
fact,
was the most.
that was the second night that we had gotten handprints on our trucks.
That was the most awesome set of prints I've ever seen in my life.
I got to tell you, brother, I'm proud of them. I really am.
Yeah.
Everybody that's involved in the team, man. I mean, it was just awesome. Ranger X is, he's one of our trackers, and it was him and his boy that come up there to get me when my phone died,
Uh huh.
and
Yeah.
they're the ones that initially spotted the handprints and everything on our trucks because,
Uh huh.
but yeah, that hey CJ, I just it was when I first thought when I'm seeing these handprints and they're smaller than anybody's on the team that we got up there, and none of them are higher than like the bed rail of the truck, and they
Yeah.
all if you look at them, they all look like they're reaching up.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. From the
You
from
know,
the angle that.
yeah,
Yeah. Like.
yeah. Well, then you've got you throw in the fact that the bear-proof Yeti cooler had been opened that was in on the back of the tailgate or just inside the tailgate, and there was none of the drinks were stolen out of it, but water had been scooped out of it, and there was water and ice that was dropped on the tailgate. So something had stuck its like hand in there or something and scooped up some water. And then there's muddy handprints on top of the cab of Ranger's truck. Like I was telling you earlier, it looked like
Yeah.
something was looking over the cab, was standing in the back of his truck, looking over the cab, watching them walk up the trail to go get me. And from the time they left to the time we got back, there was only about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you something that was really crazy about that night. And I mean, aside from obviously the handprints,
Right.
but
Right.
when they went when my phone went dead, it went because I was gonna, the phone turned off and everything, and I went, okay, well, maybe I got enough juice to, maybe call them or text them or something, let them know I'm okay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even turn back on. I mean, it was dead, and so, and I had gotten turned around, and so I had to stop and listen to where the highway was and get my bearings, and then head in the right direction. I had gotten way down there on the bottom, on the back side of the cemetery, way back down there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was making my way back up, and I was hollering at them as I went, but I couldn't get no response. So I started doing really loud whoops. I thought, well, this is going to get their attention, and it travels good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They never heard me,
Whoa.
and we were at most 150 yards away from each other,
That's crazy.
and they never heard me. They didn't hear me until I saw their flashlights, and then that's when they heard me.
That's strange. 'Cause, I mean, you got kind of a loud voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
it
imagine
carried.
if you whoop loud, you're going to hear it for a ways. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. That was really strange because you can hear, like I said, you can listen for the highway and you can actually hear the highway. You can hear a car when it goes down the gravel road down there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people talking that were like across the road or whatever when you're up there in the cemetery, and they did not hear me that night. I don't know what it was, but it was like we were in a cone of silence. It was just really freaking strange.
That
But
is strange. Yeah.
yeah, because I'd never had that happen at all up there. That was one of the many things that just chalk another some more weird ass crap back up on the calendar because
Yeah. Do you think it was like a either a juvenile or
uh,
smaller Bigfoot that did that?
well we identified three different sets of prints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was three somethings wandering around the trucks.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I could see the one. It kind of looked like it was like
oh yeah,
crouched down the way the handprint was, or the. And
yeah,
you
the
got the whole
forearm.
thing.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah,
like
and
it was like this or something, or
yeah, and
maybe
it
it
was
had
kind of
yeah, or maybe it had put its arm and then put its hand or something. But yeah, it was an arm and a hand and a forearm print, and even an elbow on the back, way on the
yeah,
back side of it. But yeah, and I've had several. And I was telling you earlier, I've had several people. One of them being a fingerprint um, expert, look at those prints and tell me they couldn't tell me what it is, but they could tell me it wasn't human.
wow,
And honestly, that's good enough for me. And the first thing people ask me is, "Well, did you swab it for DNA?" I didn't have nothing to swab, nothing with DNA, not to keep it from going, to get a clean sample. And the first thing people are going to say, "Oh, it's contaminated." What
right,
good is that going to do you? You know.
right.
And but we did get another handprint down on Nicholas's truck one night, and it was a big handprint. That's where he took a leak on by the side of his SUV. He had been peeing behind his truck, and something big came up and put his hand on top of the SUV and just looked like he just spread his legs and just let her go.
Yeah,
Like a damn Clydesdale and stood there. But we pulled that handprint, and the only way we knew, I just happened to have some clear packing tape in my truck,
yeah.
and so we did it on the handprint, pulled it off the truck, and that's in a plastic, that's in a sandwich bag, a freezer bag, and
Uh huh.
he's got that handprint.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, now I don't, I'd like to send that off, in touch with him, I'm, and send that off to get it tested for DNA. Because if there's any DNA, it's going to be on there.
Yeah, it's gonna be on there. Yeah,
Yeah. Randy, what's up?
yeah. Randy. Yeah, I mean
But
that's it's the most awesome set of prints. For you to get the elbow, the
yeah,
forearm, the hand. I don't
I,
think I've
I
ever seen anybody get anything like that. I think you're
well,
the first one I ever seen.
and see, that's what we thought too, and it's like that is, and I'm still convinced that that is the best physical evidence to come out of a place in a very, very long time.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's
Just a second.
no problem.
I'm back.
Okay, but yeah, we were very, very excited about it. I mean, we were like a bunch of giddy cool school kids, man, when we found all those prints. You know,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it flipped me out. I was like, what?
yeah.
I was like, man, that is amazing. And no one could have made. I mean, there's no way they were human. That is
No,
that
the
is
prints are wrong. The dermal ridges. I mean, and that's another. That's one. That's it's not just the handprints, but when you got them, you can see the fingerprints in them.
uh huh.
And they're not human fingerprints. That's that's what's crazy. And then you got the forearm. Looks like I mean that's obviously hair. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, you can see,
obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
has anybody else got anything? I mean, you're the only one I know that's ever. You guys are the only ones I know that ever got that hair. I mean, you can see the hair, you can see the elbow.
it's I haven't seen it if it's ever been caught.
Right, right. That's what I mean. I've never heard of getting that big of a print. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen the hand prints,
Right.
but never the elbow, forearm, and hand.
Yeah. I know now. Supposedly there was some face prints, like looking on a glass door,
Uh-huh.
um, that they had swabbed for DNA and everything, but I never heard anything out of that. But I know the people that were involved in it. I can't name them, but
Uh-huh.
because the results obviously, I guess, haven't came out, or if they came back, it wasn't anything. I haven't heard
Right.
one way or the other. But
I know that's the thing that I wish someone would get. I wish they get this DNA test to where we can figure out what the hell we're actually dealing with.
and I don't buy. Okay, so a lot of people say one of the problems is that there's nothing in DNA bank to match it.
Right.
Okay, here's what I think, and I know this is kind of a conspiracy type thing. One, I think the government knows full well what's out there. Okay,
Yeah.
um, I don't see how they can't. um, but the way these algorithms work and everything these days, you know, and it's a plain fact now that they are monitoring these DNA banks, like Ancestor.com and all this kind of stuff. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
caught the Golden State Killer off of it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I've heard they've caught actual killers from
yeah, yeah.
the DNA, and
That
then you
matched
go
his
by.
family
Yeah,
DNA
yeah,
because it matched like his cousins or something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's how they caught him. So we know that they're looking at this stuff. We know that that's in their banks, right? So it's not out of the realm of possibility that if this certain DNA gets put in the system, that it gets flagged and they give it they it bounces back with a false reading or a contamination or unknown or whatever they want it to. It's all computerized. There's nothing stopping that from happening. It's very doable. It's a simple thing to do. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
YouTube can flag words and stuff, you know,
Yeah, they
and
can
from
flag.
what
They can flag. Yeah,
it's a very simple process. So
yeah.
that's
See,
what I think. That's what I think is happening.
well,
And
now I
I think that's
seen.
why we can't get no DNA back off of it.
No,
That
I
it always
seen.
comes out weird or whatever.
Well, I know that there were some people going around taking water samples of Bigfoot areas,
Yeah,
and somehow they're thinking they can maybe get like DNA or something
yeah, yeah. It's
through the
called
water.
environmental. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called environmental DNA. Yeah.
yeah. No,
Um, that well, and that's actually that's kind of in its infancy right now. But they
right.
they are able to do that. They are able to take a sample of water in a watering hole and identify all the animals that have drank out of that water hole. So you know, but I find it funny that because I'll be honest with you, I know there's a lot of people out there, and I'm not trying to step on any toes, guys, really not. But I know there's a lot of people out there that claim they know what these things are. Um, uh,
I don't think none of
I
us
don't
know what
think I
they.
don't think somebody can say they know what because what you believe and what you know, that's two different things.
Right, right.
And I totally understand somebody having this belief that they're convinced there's no in their mind there's no other way, this is what it is. I get that, I really
Yeah,
do. um, but you can't say that,
right.
because You haven't seen the proof. As far as I'm concerned, you haven't seen the proof. I haven't seen the proof to
Right.
convince me they're one thing or the other. You know, I do not think that they're portal jumping critters. I just don't. I think that's something else we're dealing with.
Yeah.
I really do. Because I think the problem is, and I'm sure you've heard us talk about this a lot, that for such a lot of years here, everybody's been cramming everything they see weird or hear or whatever in the woods as a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Big dark shadow with red eyes. It's a Bigfoot. You know, and
Uh-huh.
Jason is famous for this quote, and I love it. You take somebody you take them out in the woods and they tell you, "Oh, I saw a big 8-foot shadow with glowing red eyes." Everybody automatically says, "Oh, you saw a Bigfoot." But you take that same person and they say, I was sleeping in my bed and woke up and there's an 8-foot big humanoid thing with glowing red eyes at the foot of my bed. Well, you saw a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't be both,
Right. Right.
And that's why I don't think that everything we've been sticking in this Bigfoot box is Bigfoot.
No,
I think we're dealing with a lot more than just one phenomenon out there.
oh yeah. And there's probably things we don't even
Oh
know
yeah,
about yet. I mean, there's just, I don't know. It's I don't know if we ever will know the whole truth. I mean, like I said, the government knows, but I don't know if we'll ever know. I mean, hopefully we do,
right.
but I mean, it all started with Teddy Roosevelt. That's what I mean. Everybody goes, and I think that's true. Why did he want to turn all that land into federal property?
Yeah, was he just that much? I mean, he was a nature lover. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
He
he's a
was.
conservationist, but there's a reason
Right.
behind it. I
But,
think more. Yeah, it's
and a lot of people think that it was his tracker that got killed and he was just, you know,
yeah, yeah. I've heard that too. That they really think it was Teddy Roosevelt. That
yeah,
and it wasn't.
but I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
I don't think we'll ever know. I mean, I hopefully one of these days someone can figure something out. And I hate to see someone kill one. I mean, if they can be killed, just for
Well,
scientific reasons.
my belief, and I've had a lot of people tell me this is not the case, but I think they are killable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would want to kill one. Um, for a few reasons. Um,
Right.
but everything, it's kind of like the old adage, if it bleeds, you can kill it. But everything has an off switch.
Oh yeah.
Everything has an off switch. It's right at the base of the skull.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And these things are not bulletproof.
No,
They're just
I
not.
no, I don't think so either. I mean, I
I
think
think
they
they
could be
have been.
killed.
I think they have been killed. I really do. I mean, we've heard several accounts of it, and what happens 9 times out of 10? Somebody shows up, you know. Um,
Hi, Penny.
so, hey, Penny. So, I don't, I don't, I really don't think it's an if the government knows about
They do
it.
know
It's they
about
know
it.
about it. They know about it. Are we ever going to see, I think, or I believe, I hope, all of those, um, that we will have what everybody's calling disclosure in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the ongoing joke is Santa lives to 124, so I got quite a while.
Right.
So, you know, um, but I've felt that way for a lot of years that they're gonna come off of this, in, our lifetimes, and, the reason, one of the reasons that I feel that way is because of what we've seen with the UFO thing.
Yeah, I was just going to ready to say that. Yeah.
Because we have been, if you look at how they treated the whole UFO phenomenon with the media, the movies, the government, everybody down the road, with the, with the documentaries, the mockumentaries, the movies, the kids movies, making ET friendly, that type of thing. You're seeing the same thing, and now almost 100 years later, they come off of it, and now, yeah, they admit they're out there.
Right.
They can dance around all this kind of and backtrack and crawfish all they want to, but they've already let the cat out of the bag. They know.
Right. Right.
Okay. Um, and if you look at how that tracked, I think we're seeing the same thing with Sasquatch. We're seeing it track the same way.
I hope so.
Because what happened when the first time that the government said, okay, UFOs we know they're out there. I expected this community to blow up about that. You didn't hardly hear a peep.
Right. Right. I
And,
understand because I was thinking the same thing. Man, they
yeah,
just said UFOs are real. They
yeah.
finally admitting to it. I thought it
And
was
what
going to be a
happened?
whole big uproar, and
Yeah,
nobody, like you said, it was just like, oh, no big deal. You
yeah,
know.
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the same thing with Bigfoot, and I think they're doing it on purpose.
They,
So they don't scare the hell out of everybody, and it just demolish the tourist and the timber, and all this kind of stuff.
right. Right.
But
Yeah.
I
'Cause
do
I
think
mean,
I do think it will affect that, and you know, you know, be detrimental to those industries, because
yeah.
you're going to have conservationists and activists that want to protect the species, which they should be.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
definitely should be. But I mean, from aside from shutting down the parks that Roosevelt gave them,
Hmm.
we're pretty much doing everything we can anyway, as far as they've got their own areas. But
Right.
it's not like can't keep them fenced in, for God's sake.
We'll see up here
I
in
mean, if
West
they're
Virginia.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
if they are, and I do think that they are some form of us,
yeah.
you know. And when I say that, there's they've discovered, like, what is it, 12, 15 subspecies of us, you
Yeah.
know, and everywhere from little people to big ones. And I think they're in that category. I really do. You
Yeah.
know, their
It's
family tree went one way and ours went the other, and that's just how it went.
right.
But I think we're related. I don't know how closely we're related, but I
Yeah,
mean,
but some way. Yeah. Yeah.
they obviously do have primate behavior. We've seen that. Those of us that have been out there in the woods, we've seen that. And they also tend to have human behavior aspects too. We've
Yeah.
seen that. So what does that tell you? And then the whole I just heard this. I just ran across it a couple of weeks ago. There was a species of human that they found in, was it a cave? I can't remember. But and this is not the little people I'm talking about. This is something else
Hmm.
that they found, that this group of critters or people, however you want to look at it, buried their dead in a ritualistic way,
Hmm.
like 100,000 years before they thought people buried their dead.
Wow.
So the whole argument on why haven't we found a Bigfoot body, you know, And if these critters are as half as intelligent as we give them credit for being, you ain't gonna. You're,
You're not gonna find that body if they don't want you to.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
It,
that argument's null and void. To be honest with you,
right.
but I think the answer is and I've heard they eat their dead. There's an encounter that I heard about on the Red River that this old boy was out deer hunting and he had a 30-30. And those of you that don't know, a 30-30 packs a hell of a wallop at a short
Well,
range.
hell, yes, it does.
And I mean, it's called a brush gun for a reason. That's because you can shoot through a damn branch about that big around
hmm
and still hit your freaking target. But it's only good for about 75, 85 yards, maybe 100 if you're lucky.
Right.
When it gets past that, bullet trajectories are like a rainbow. But
hmm
it packs one hell of a wallop, and that's a big piece of lead going down range.
Oh,
But
hell
anyway,
yeah.
this boy was out deer hunting. He had a 30-30. He shot a Bigfoot, gut shot a Bigfoot on the banks of the Red River. It stumbled out into the river on a sandbar. Two
hmm
other Bigfoot came out of the trees on the other side. One hit it low, one hit it high, broke its neck, and tore it apart and ate it right there.
Wow.
So if that's the case, now was it what we call a gugway? Very possibly.
hmm
Very possibly. I don't know what the difference between these critters are. They're just, some of them are, but I don't think the difference in these critters, when we talk about the gugway, when we talk about the yeti, we talk about the yowie, we talk about the Bigfoot, we talk about this. I don't think they're any different than, say, white people, black people, Asian people. I think that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And back in the day, you go roaming around South America or you go roam around the Pacific Islands, and you may get lucky and walk into a village and sit down and be invited to dinner. The next village over, you may be dinner.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think you see the same difference in behavior with these things. Some of them don't like us, some of them do, or they tolerate us. I'll put it that way.
Right.
But I think that's where we're at with it. That's just my personal opinion. But
Yeah. Well, you got a good point there. I mean, cannibalism's been around for probably since the beginning of time.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, a chicken will eat another chicken.
oh yeah,
Have you ever seen it? I mean,
a
there
deer
was
will eat another deer.
yeah.
You look at a deer. You look at a deer a carcass. One of the first things to show up is a damn deer. you know?
I mean, animals will eat each other. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
I guess it's just the nature of of being a mammal.
it's the circle of life.
Right.
Hakuna Matata.
Right. I mean, it's just. Oh, Brandy said something here. Let's see. Brandy said could be the missing link in evolution. With all the research going on with very little results, anything could be possible at this point. That's the truth.
That is very true. That is very, very true.
Oh, Penny said chickens. Yeah, pigs. Yeah,
Oh,
Pigs are. There's some mean, nasty things sometimes. Let me tell you.
yeah,
We raised pigs when I was a little kid, so
me too.
I
Well,
was at a.
and we're going to be talking about this gentleman on Infamous Minds here pretty soon. Um, he he was a serial killer that fed his victims to his pigs.
Yeah, there's
And
stories around here about people doing that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, there's
because it
stories.
works.
Yeah, because a pig will eat any damn thing.
Yeah,
I
they
was
do.
at a stock sale, Tex. And we used to take pigs and sell pigs,
Right.
crap cow. Uh, and they had all the piglets in a, you know how the stockyards are. They had them all in a
Right.
little space. Then some bitches was trying to kill each other. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding you. I mean, they wasn't no bigger than that, and they're
Yeah.
vicious little
Yeah.
bastards.
They are, you know. I mean, it's and you get out in the wild and you get the feral pigs,
See, that's
you
one thing
know.
we don't have them here. I've heard the stories, but I've never been around them, or be able to hunt one. But I heard they are like vicious. Like
Oh
they'll
yeah,
attack you.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine, and we're gonna have him on the channel, but at some point, if I can nail him down,
Uh,
he's got one hell of a pig story. But
he said,
you know, you
Penny
see,
said,
I've
I,
known some nice ones though. I think it's in breed and socializing with a pig. Right, right. Hey, you're right. You can train a pig like a dog.
well, they're smart as attack.
Oh yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
smart and stupid at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
because I showed pigs in high school, so you had to train your pig.
yeah.
And so yeah,
Yeah. Was you in the FFA too?
oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was too.
The proud winner of the swine production award one year. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's good.
I get this. You might call it cheating. Um, I got the run of the litter because what we would do, we would have a farmer and he would have a litter of pigs, and then we drew numbers, and then you got to select your pig, versus on your number.
Yeah.
Well, I drew bad and got the last number, so I got the run of the litter, and I won the swine production award with him because he gained what was it, three? It's like I can't remember if it was like three. It was like 3 point something pounds. Worked out to be either a week or a day or something like that. I can't remember, but it was just ungodly.
You got big.
And everybody was speeding at that point in time. Everybody was feeding what this feed called Super Pig. It was a slop mix,
Mm-hmm.
and you just mixed it with water and everything, and everybody was feeding it. And I got the bright idea to instead of mixing it with water, I mix it with beer. So I'd grab a 6 pack of beer and go down and mix my hog 3 cans of beer and this slop, and then I'd sit there and drink 3 cans of beer with my pig. Me and him sit down there and have conversations. I actually named him Alky, but
Alky. Oh, shoot.
but yeah, it's beer will put weight on a pig. I'll guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. That's one program I wish more kids would join. I mean, it's really a good program for kids.
Yeah, yeah, it's. Penny says I marinated it while I'm still alive.
The runts
Oh,
we raised dogs too, and the runts always end up being the biggest dog
yeah,
out of the litter.
yep. A lot of times they'll end up being the damn meanest if you let them go that route because they got to fight for what they get. They got to fight off
Yeah.
all them bigger pups. So,
Yeah.
and they'll damn sure they'll end up with some fight to them. Not necessarily mean, but
Yeah, they're
they'll have a lot more. They'll be a lot tougher. There we go, tougher.
yeah, because they had to fight for that milk. You know what I mean? To get in
Yeah,
there and get that milk when they was little pups. Yeah.
yeah. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't have made it.
Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. When you start talking about this subject, and there's so many rabbit holes we go down when we start talking about it, and so many people's got very, very strong opinions, and I love everybody's opinions, and that. But I think what bothers me the most, and me and Carrie Arnold shared this train of thought. Well, one thing we couldn't stand is that's people putting their opinion out there as fact, and there's a lot of people that do that. A
Hmm.
lot of people, you know, and yeah, you can sit here and argue with me and tell me what you believe all day long, and I got all the respect in the world for you. But if you're sitting there trying to tell me this is the way it is and there is no other way, that you know this and and no, you don't know this,
Yeah.
you know, it's your opinion. You need to figure that out
Right. The only
because I
thing that
don't
really,
know. I know absolutely jack about jack. So it's
yeah,
all I can do is tell you what All we're doing is drawing conclusions and speculation from what we've observed. That's all you can do.
that's what it
You
is.
know.
And then if everybody just get together without the fighting, the bickering, and the arguing, and just
Yeah.
sit
Yeah.
down and everybody share their thoughts without it getting
Yeah.
pissed off about it
Yeah.
because this guy thinks this way. But
Yeah.
if the community would just get together and just quit the bickering and the arguing, and this is like you said, this is fact. Because you don't know, nobody knows but God and probably the government, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're the only
I
ones that
agree.
know.
I
Uh,
agree.
it's,
Can't we all just get along?
right. Yeah, had to pull a Rodney King card, didn't you? Yeah, I mean, that's the truth, Texas. You said a mouthful there. Can't we all just get along?
I don't get it. There's a bunch of petty stuff that goes on in what we call this community. And every freaking community, the paranormal, the UFO, the cryptid, every one of them is the exact same thing. And when you really get down to it, it's all petty BS.
Right,
And
right.
a lot of it, if not a lot of it, if not all of it, is because the ego's getting away.
That's what I was going to say. Egos, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about ego, and it's
It's a shame.
it is. Don't get me wrong. You, me, everybody that's on these shows, we have egos. Okay, we do. If we didn't, we wouldn't be doing this. Okay, and but there's a little thing called the super ego, and
Yes.
they're uh, they're called super egos because they're huge, but on the other hand, they're very, very fragile.
Yes.
But they
Yep.
are big. But you get you bump into that ego and bruise it a
Yeah.
little bit. People
Mm-hmm.
get their hackles up real quick.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's best. I listen to everybody. I listen to
Yeah,
everybody's opinion because we ain't never going to learn if we don't talk, to each other and
yeah,
try to
yeah.
figure things out.
It's like the whole mind speaking. If it ever happens to me, I'm gonna be the first one up here. I'll be waving that woo flag all over the place.
Right,
But
right.
I ain't had it happen to me yet. But I may never. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, well, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You put
yeah,
me 2 cents
yeah. The
in.
boss has spoken.
The boss has spoken.
Is that you?
Because you're the boss.
I didn't know.
Well, Tex, I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you said you got somewhere to go tomorrow, so I know you're probably about ready to spend some time with the wife and stuff, family.
Yeah, and I got my grandson over here, and so
Yeah, spend some time
we're
with
just
him, huh?
because he'll probably go to bed here in a little bit. So
Yeah. I appreciate you
I tell
coming
you what,
on.
anytime we can schedule it, by God, I'd be glad to come back. I got to get you on my show too. We
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to
we
do
got,
that one day, and I want to get your whole dog man story too. I just wanted to do Bigfoot tonight,
yeah, we can do that.
That's all. Now, one question I wanted to ask you about Brown Springs. You don't have to go into it, just yes or no.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a lot of UFO sightings down there?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I just wondered. I know because I know you said you
Yeah,
got spirit or ghost.
Yes.
You
yeah,
got you got Bigfoot for
yeah.
sure. I mean, by the handprints and stuff. Is there dogfoot stories down there too?
Is there what?
Dog man stories.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. D. Doss saw one. It almost made him quit.
Now here's another question. I hate to even bring it up on the whole Brown Springs thing. Is that the place where supposedly a woman was? You know where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah,
So
brutalized. Let's put it
I
that
don't
way.
have to. I don't want to say no more. But
Right.
is that the place that I heard that story?
That is the place. That is the
Okay.
place.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. I always wondered because I didn't know if there was more than one Brown Springs. You know what I mean?
No, that is the place.
Yeah.
Her and her boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to go in the whole story. I know it's kind of traumatic for people to hear some of that stuff. You know what I mean?
That was
Yeah.
that's a rough one. If you go into the details, it's a rough one
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
Hey, tell everybody about your shows. I
Oh,
know you
well,
got Texas Front Porch, and now you got them famous
yeah, we got
time.
on Mondays at what time is it? It's 8 Central.
Hey, we
8
went through this
Central.
today already.
Yeah, Mondays at 8 Central. We got Texas Front Porch. You got me and Brandy up there, and she tries to keep me reined in, but it don't work. Um, and then Wednesdays we've got a new show actually, and Danielle Diva, and it's called the Diva Dimension, and she gets into anything. She had that I know of. She had never had the opportunity to have her own show, and I told her there's only two things that we don't do, and that's discuss politics and religion.
Right.
You know, and I said, other than that, here's the reins. They're off. Go.
Right.
So she's doing her own thing, and then Saturdays we release an episode of Infamous Minds where we talk about not just serial killers. We talk about a lot of things and a lot of different people.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the Pol Pots of the world and Jim Joneses and all that time. We did David Koresh, that type of thing. But yeah, we've got some great guests that we have on there, but most time it's just us talking about because we research all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just fantastic. She's got a background in psychology too, so
Oh yeah.
it
I love watching your guys' show. I really love the vampire one. The
yeah.
whole guy. Oh man, that she blew my mind away with some of the stuff.
Yeah, and
Wow.
she's really something. I mean, she's a fascinating
Yes, she
and
is.
lovely person, and I'm really really glad and blessed to have her as part of the team. Well, then since we've had to all split up and go our own ways, basically because we were all simulcast on all these different channels.
Yeah.
But you've also got on Tuesdays. You've got at 7 Central. You got Bob Van Buren of Van Buren Variety. Now he's not. He'll have a paranormal show every once in a while, but mainly he focuses on, I guess we'd call it normal stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of musicians and authors and stuff. So,
Yeah.
real fascinating stuff. That's at 7 Central, and on Tuesdays, and then what is it? 8 Central. Yeah, 8 Central. You got Beyond BMR over on Bigfoot Michigan Rob's channel, and then after that, at I think 9 Central on Tuesdays, you've also got Jason McLean over there doing on Untold Radio AM doing Mysterious Library, and then on Thursdays you got Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob at noon on uh, Noon Central,
Mm-hmm.
and that's over on his channel, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. So you gotta go over yonder. And then Thursday nights we've got um, the Blondes and the Booze paranormal podcast at 8 Central. And you got to go over to their channel now and watch that. And then on Fridays, and I always say if their shows on Thursdays are they talk about some weird and creepy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but the really weird and creepy stuff is on Fridays because it's Blondes, Booze, and the Woo.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's at 8 Central. And then Danielle's new show on Wednesdays is right now it's at 11 Central. Um, but that's going to change. That's going to back up a little bit. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Brandy got to go to Brown Springs with me not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did she think?
Um,
Did she get scared or anything on you?
you need to have her on. I'll let her tell that story.
Yeah, I had him on here. I need to get Brandy on here one day.
Yeah, you need to get her on so she can tell that little adventure
Yeah.
because we had some stuff happen.
Yeah.
But Brandy says we are creepy. Yeah, y'all are both.
They like that
Yeah,
scary
that's
stuff.
pretty much
Yeah.
what we got going. I mean, we between the, what? Let's see, you got, geez, 4 channels. I guess we all fill up the week. And the thing about it is we had to separate because we couldn't do the simulcasting anymore. But we're still a team,
Yeah.
and that's great.
It sucks though that they did that to you guys. I mean, honestly, it was like you had it all figured out. You know what I mean? All your
Yeah.
shows and everything was, and now it's just like,
Yeah, yeah. It's, we scattered like a covey of quail.
no doubt, right?
But yeah, so y'all, and if you go over to my channel, Texas Front Porch, and you look up go to the homepage and you look up on the right hand side up there, it's got the links to all the different channels up there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hit them that way. But yeah, we would appreciate any of y'all go over and maybe we'll get over. We like to think that once we get you over there to visit, we can get you hooked. You'll stay. So
I've been hooked since I started watching William Nighthawk, and then I ended up with Texas Front Porch, and then how do you pronounce that? The one that Jason was doing.
Oh, Ciru Papers.
Yeah, Papers, and then
Ciru
the
Papers,
Blondes
yeah.
and Blues, and then DA. I mean,
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
I know there's a Dogman conference coming up in September down here in Fort Worth, Texas.
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that Josh Turner and Ken Gerhardt are putting on, and I will be speaking at it.
That's cool.
And the Blondes are going to be just about everybody but on the team except for Rob is going to be there.
Yeah.
The Blondes are going to be there. Danielle's looking at coming down from Canada to visit us. Bob will be there. Yeah, it's Labor Day weekend, so it's a 3-day deal. So,
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, and what a lot of people don't know is the place that they're having this thing at is only about 10 minutes down the road from where the Lake Worth Goat Man ran around.
I have to look that one up. I don't know about that one.
I think me and Jason think it was a Sasquatch,
Uh-huh.
but there were the big sighting. There's been several sightings, but the big one was 20 to 30 people that saw it
Seriously?
at the same time.
Holy
and several
crap.
of them were cops.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, look that one up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that one up.
So
Yeah,
Lake Worth Goat Man.
Are you guys going to do any little go out around the place and look for Bigfoot or anything while you're down here?
It depends on how much time we have.
Right.
Because people. Brandy says we're going. I want to see. So yeah, evidently I'm going to Lake Worth. So
Yeah, I wish I lived. I mean, I love West Virginia, but we just don't get all the creepy. I mean, we got creepy stuff here, and it's just not like it is prevalent like in Texas and Oklahoma.
I don't know, man. I've heard a lot of stories up from your area, man. I mean, it's of course. Who were them cats that had that show?
The
Mountain Monsters.
mountain monsters. Yeah,
Man, I love, and I know a lot of people that go, "Oh, that show was too stupid." I loved that show.
well,
I absolutely
they're
loved
just
that
West
show.
Virginia boys, you know. Of
Yeah,
course, you know all of them shows. You got to have a little bit of, to
yeah,
sell
yeah,
to
yeah.
sell the show.
I mean, you asked me earlier if I'd heard about the Grafton, thing, and that's where I heard about it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
but if nothing else, you find out about all these cryptids in that area. You know, and which I thought was really, really very, very interesting. But
yeah. If you get a chance, look up at the Braxton Monster. They call
yeah,
it They called it Braxton. It's an interesting story. But
I
yeah,
will definitely do that.
yeah,
When you look up the Lake Worth Goat Man, I'll look up the Braxton.
yeah. I want to check out that Goat Man because I just now started hearing. I mean, I've heard about it, but not really looked into the whole
Yeah.
Goat Man phenomenon. I want to look into that. Well, you guys got the big birds down there too, right? Like
Oh yeah, the pterosaurs. Yeah,
the terror. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Jason saw one.
yeah. That's all. I
Yeah,
remember him talking about it. Yeah,
yeah. And I'll do him a favor. You can find that account and many others and the Goat Man in his book, Metroplex Monsters and Other Terrifying Cryptids or whatever creatures of the Dallas Fort Worth area. Available wherever great books and dirty rags are sold or something like that. You find it on Amazon.
yeah. I'm gonna have to
Metroplex
check.
Monsters.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, Tex, I'll let you off here, buddy. I know you got
All right.
things to do, and you go spend some time with that grandson.
I will do that, man. You go. You go. If
Yeah,
she'll let you see what she'll let you get away with.
right, right.
Yeah,
She's trying to whisper
she's
to me
she's
now.
up to something. I can tell. Look at that.
Hmm.
Oh, well, we'll see you later, Chris.
Hey, you too. Good night, everybody. Y'all have a good evening. Tex, we'll see you again. We got to do another show.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks,
See you
everybody,
later.
for coming to the show.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.